Hi, everyone. Thanks for attending my presentation today. I'll just hop right into the stakeholders and personas I identified for the project. First of all, up there, we have Burns & McDonnell. They were the third-party inspector on the project. We had an electrical subcontractor, the owner, and of course, the general contractor, which in this case would be Mortensen. The personas I identified, we had C.D. Bush superintendent, Todd Osborne, he was the electrical superintendent, Kevin Blackburn, who was the owner rep, and Mike Nielsen and Taylor Brunson. They were both the project engineer and project manager, respectively. As far as systems of record go, there existed 3 separate systems. We had 2 Procore databases, one managed by Mortensen and one managed by the owner, and also a Google Sheet managed by Mortensen, and that was in-house. For our documents of record, there were 3 separate quality control tracking systems that I studied in the project. We had a punch list that was managed by the third-party inspector, and then we had the Procore quality checklists that were managed by Mortensen, and also an in-house quality spreadsheet that was also managed by Mortensen. Moving on to the current state or what happened on the project. So I studied a transmission line rebuild that I was on last summer. And so here you can see we kind of had 3 separate disconnected quality control tracking systems here, and they didn't really work a lot with each other, and there was a lot of issues with communication between each system. And so as far as pain points I identified, a lot of times the project engineer was not effectively communicating notifications to superintendent, and that created a lot of miscommunication and rework issues in the project. There was a delay in inspection, and so the third-party inspector would often be inspecting work that we had completed, weeks prior, and that created a lot of issues with rework as well. And so in general, it was just a lot of disconnected systems and documents. So just a brief summary of kind of the shared pains. There were too many systems that existed, and that caused a lot of double data entry, which detracted from efficiency. Entering data in multiple systems caused a lot of error, and one or more systems may not be updated with the latest inspections and/or drawing revisions. Exporting the data from the existing Procore system was possible, but also we wanted a kind of a more visual and format that allowed for parcel information and kind of geographic data to also be uploaded. And then the time and energy that was being expended on administrative tasks rather than inspections in the field was kind of a detriment to the project team overall. Now for our future state here, it kind of eliminated the 3 separate systems there and created one system that can interact with Procore that we already have. And so what was good about this solution was that the Arcgis system, which I'll talk about in a minute, can interact and interface directly with Procore. And so you can keep that system of record in Procore, but also have that visual system that can provide at-a-glance quality tracking information and also project tracking information in general. And so ArcGIS eliminated the issue of disconnected systems and provides a visual quality tracking in real time from the office and in the field. And so just a brief summary of the shared gains identified. ArcGIS provided a way for all stakeholders to access and edit a visual quality database in real time. It eliminates the isolated quality tracking systems and consolidates everything into one system. It also provides at-a-glance information and a progress report. Since the uploaded data was instantaneous, this eliminated the issue of using outdated data. And also it allows Procore to still be used for record keeping in the inspection process. And these inspections can be automatically linked to the ArcGIS system. And so for the ArcGIS system and the technological solution, I'll let it catch up there. There we go. This system integrates like VDC modeling and Google Earth with project tracking information. In the case of the transmission line, the ArcGIS system may display information by land parcels, such as access roads, landowner information, construction status reports regarding the setting of structures in OPGW pole status. That applies more to a transmission line, but it can apply to any scope of work. The software is still being developed, so future updates can add more functionality that I described earlier. It can also be used in the field on like an app, which is, I think, really useful, especially for the field teams. It increases buy-in for the field teams, which is always very important and always a challenge. And then lastly, each structure may be able to have its own Procore quality inspections linked directly to it in ArcGIS, which would allow Procore and ArcGIS to be used in conjunction with one another. And just kind of wanted to extend a thank you to everyone who helped me on the research process. That includes Allison Hart, Michael Stevens, Nathan Wood, and Taylor Brunson. I'd also like to thank Bluebeam for providing me such a generous scholarship, and the Construction Progress Coalition for providing me the opportunity to conduct meaningful research on an important topic. So thanks, everyone.
All right, well done. Round of applause. I'm curious, DJ, is that the first time you've heard the request for a Procore ArcGIS integration?
Not so much in the context of an ArcGIS, but that's the struggle with infrastructure type work is it's over such a long horizontal distance, and typically a lot of the VDC space is done in vertical work. So that's kind of the segregation that happens there. So you're dealing with a building or like a campus and not so much of the long thing. So it's trying to figure out where you are location wise and then tying that back to an actual like arc, like a longitude latitude location. That's what's really kind of really important in that type of work is people want to know where it is. I mean, you could tag it on the drawings or anything like that, but it doesn't kind of tie back into
where relative to what, right? Yeah, it's
exactly.
Like it's all about what is it relative to, and then you can do it. But it's like who decides what it's relative to and making that association. Like that's the trick. Is like where do you figure out when that happens in the workflow? I feel like
I mean there's a hacky kind of workflow you can do inside Procore with some like locations and stuff, but it doesn't actually have sort of that true geo reference location and being able to, however, trying to grab that information and make it accurately, right? Depends on satellites and your coverage for that day and how it's accurately linked, but the workflow is fantastic. It actually has ties even to some larger campus type projects that we have customers using, being able to, it's the whole thing of site utilities and site horizontal work and then the vertical work aspect of that. But yeah, I mean, that's the big picture thing is you'd like to know like where you are, like if you're standing next to something, you could see these were the issues, or these were the inspection items, or these were the deficiency items, and they're here, right? They're in that kind of context. It makes you spatially aware. That's like the final goal of all this BIM process. If I'm in a room, it can tell me like where I'm at, or if I'm standing at this particular station point on a road, I can see those issues that are kind of around me instead of having to kind of hunt and peck and trying to find that.
And thank you, Rob Sawyer, for sharing the ArcGIS viewer that I guess does exist in the marketplace. We'll have to, Cole, if you haven't yet, kick the tires. We'll have to kick the tires on that and see if that, how close that is to fitting the needs of what you're talking about.